Hello, everybody. Crazy Twitter, I swear. Hi, this is Leslie. Hey, Gary, welcome. This is Leslie, and you, of course, are watching Lunch with Leslie. So, this week, hi, Ellen, welcome. Everybody, welcome in. If you guys don't mind sharing out on Twitter, that would be great. Hi, hello. Dolphin Blue, great name. Hi, welcome. Hi. I just want to say all my highs and get those out of the way. I have to tell you that this is I am so excited about this week because I am super passionate about this topic. And we are going to be talking about organics and organic priorities all week this week. Hopefully, I'm going to throw down some tips that will help you transition if you're not already. Hi, welcome in. Miami Peppermint. I'm hoping I throw down some stuff this week that will help you transition into a more, and maybe even convince you, if you're not already convinced, to make organic choices for you and your family when you're talking about foods. So, hi, glad to see everybody. So this did not go out on my Twitter again. Still can't figure out with Periscope what's happening there, and still working on it. So if you guys don't mind sharing out to your Twitter or sharing with your followers, that would be great, so we can fill up this room. Thank you. That's so sweet for you to say. So we can fill up this room as we talk about organics. And if you don't know, my name is Leslie. You're watching Lunch with Leslie. I do this show every weekday at noon Mountain Time. And I have a website. Actually, it's a business. It's called gotokitchens.com. And you can go over there. I have to tell you, it's a business, but I don't sell a thing. I do not rely on you guys to make my income. The only thing that is for sale over there is the idea that you buy into a healthy lifestyle. That is the only thing for sale at gotokitchens.com. So maybe one day we'll have a cookbook or something like that, or who knows what's coming up. So some exciting things are happening with Go To Kitchens that I can't wait to share with you down the road. But for now, it's just pure educational, informational, and you can go over there and see the website, become a VIP, you get a newsletter, you get all kinds of videos, you get all kinds of tips. That's not just recipes. If you go to the blog page, there's all kinds of great information there about making lifestyle changes and lifestyle choices. And so so that's what's going on. And then of course the show, sometimes I wrap the whole week up in one big that's right, hashtag dream pusher. I wrap the whole week up in one big post on my website. So like if you go to the blog post right now, you'll see my week about eggs, and you can rewatch all of those videos about eggs, and there's some really good ones in there. We just kind of decoded the egg so everybody has the information that they need to make good decisions for their family. So this week, everybody has been asking me over and over and over again, Leslie, please talk about organics, because when I'm cooking with you guys or I'm talking about food in general, I'm always talking about organics and why you should be buying organics and why you should start making a transition over to organics in your life. And so today, I'm going to tell you the reasons that I made the transitions. So here's my favorite scenario. My daughter does organic eggs. Okay, I was like, eyes, I don't get that. Yeah, organic eggs are important. It's also important that they're pasture raised. And it's the whole list of foods that I'm going to give you today is an organic priority list. And eggs are on there, and we'll talk about those when we get to that section. So here is my favorite scenario, and I see this a lot. I have coached several people through this scenario. It is very common. It's a very common misconception. You go into the grocery store, you go into natural grocers. No, that's okay. You can talk. Absolutely. If you have questions, you should ask questions. Don't be quiet. I will be happy to answer them. So you may have to hang out through the broadcast to hear the answer, but I will answer them. So don't be quiet, Ellen. You can talk on, girl. So I see this all the time. I have this happen with people that I coach. We go into the grocery store and I have them start selecting the things that they feel like are healthy. And it's really intimidating because they know that they're with their food coach. They know that they're with somebody who is going to teach them in the future how to do things. And so it can be very intimidating. And I tell them there are no right choices and there are no wrong choices. Just buy what you think that you should be buying. And inevitably what happens is we start going through, and they will pick organic produce, and they will, because they think that that's what they're supposed to do. But we get over to the pasta aisle, and we get over to the sauces, and we get over to those areas, and they start picking up pastas and rices and breads and everything that have, that are organic. And to them, in their mind, it translates that if it says organic on it, especially in the fancy packaging that they do, it'll have this little label right here, right? This right here, gluten-free. I mean, there's all kinds of fancy labels on this particular thing of pasta here. This is actually a pretty decent pasta if you're going to eat pasta, but yeah, so it'll have this little fancy label here, and in their minds, it translates that if it says organic, that it's healthy, that it's good for you, that it's nutritious, that it is, what are the other things? Let me think through this just a second. What are the other words that they use when we're talking about this? Healthy, nutritious, that it's good for you. I mean, that's how it just translates. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there a little bit. That's how it translates in their mind, that it's, if it says that it's organic, then it must be good for you. Well, heck, if you go down the cookie aisle, there's going to be cookies there that say organic on them. Are they good for you? Not really. You shouldn't be buying boxes of cookies that say organic on them. So it does not mean that it says organic that it's good for you. And I read a statistic that said 50% of Americans thought that if it said organic on the packaging somewhere, that it meant that it was healthy, nutritious, or that it was good for you. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. It doesn't. The only thing organic means is, and I wrote these down because I wanted to get them right. Organic means, the word organic simply relates to, and when we're talking about prepackaged foods for sure, it simply relates to the fact that of how it was grown, how it was prepared, or how it was raised. Yeah, well, that's a tough one in these times. You trust them through your education, Ellen, and that's what we're doing here today. This is how you begin to form a trust with these companies, is that you are educated about what their labeling means. And that's a great question, because that's exactly what we're talking about here today, is understanding what all of that marketing and all that labeling means. So if you want to, so let's just refresh just real quickly again. Organic means it relates to how it was grown, how it was prepared, or how it was raised. Those are the terminologies, and that's what organic means. Now, there are some stipulations that, thank you so much for inviting followers, Ellen. There are some stipulations around what organic means or does, and I'm going to read you this whole big list. Hi, welcome in. This is a whole big list. If you're buying organics, this is what you're guaranteed. Hey, welcome in, everybody. This is what you're guaranteed. You're guaranteed that they are non-GMO, first of all. That's super important, especially when you're talking about corn products or soy products, or what are some of the other huge GMO crops? Zucchini, squashes, canola oil, which is corn, beets, papaya. Those are huge GMO crops, and so you're guaranteed, if you're buying organic, that it is not GMO, first of all, that there are no GMOs in it. Number two, there's no chemicals used in organic foods that kill weeds or bugs. And I say this all the time, but pesticides do not just kill pests. I'm going to stay off my soapbox today, but pesticides do not just kill pests. When you're ingesting those, you're putting poisons inside of your body, and your body is not equipped to handle them. They're not the new types of pesticides that they're using to make big, huge crops to kill bugs so that they get more yield. They are not just killing the pest. They are harming your insides. They are disrupting your hormones. They are functioning, your liver is not functioning properly because of them. So when you're eating organics, you are guaranteed that you do not get a bug killer, a chemical or a synthetic bug killer or weed killer. They do use pesticides, but they're not chemical. They're natural. So what are they doing now that not fruits and veggies? So they are using a type of, it's not really a pesticide, it's more of like a, it's not synthetic. So they are using some natural products that your body can actually handle, that knows what to do with it when it's there. But the synthetics that your body doesn't, hey, welcome in, your body doesn't know what to do with them. When you ingest them, it's like, what do we do with this? And so it sits in your liver and makes your liver toxic, and then you have to go, it is pretty and green, isn't it? And then you have to go through detoxes. Everybody's into detoxes right now, and you have to detox your liver to try to get rid of that crap that you've been putting in it with the pesticides. So, let's see. So you're also guaranteed that nothing was this is a big one. Yeah, so kill off the weeds and then killing you at the same time. It's really more about the pesticides. Thank you for inviting followers. So the other thing that you can guarantee, this is the big one. This is going to gross you out. So if you get grossed out easily, you might want to like put it on mute or something. But a lot of crops are fertilized with human waste. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in an area, in an agricultural area, but sometimes there's this smell, this putrid smell, and that is because that they are fertilizing crops with human sewage waste. So they take the sewage and there's a lot of nutrients in there. I know it's gross, but there are a lot of nutrients in there, and they liquefy it and they spray the crops with it. And so no, it's human. No, I call it poop corn. Oh, I'm so sorry that it's freezing. Yes, that's right. It is kind of what reclaimed water smell is, for sure. Yeah, it's unfiltered water, but this is not just the reclaimed water. They are actually taking sewage. They are turning it into a sludge or into a fertilizer, and they're spraying the crops with it because there are tons of nutrients in our poop. And so it's disgusting, but they're doing that. So I know it is gross. And so it's not linked to like any diseases or anything like that. And people have been using animal fertilizer for ages, and even human fertilizer for ages and ages to fertilize. Hey, welcome in, everybody. They've been using those for ages to do that. But if you are eating organics, you're guaranteed that you are not getting that on your foods. So that is part of the process. When they certify, hey, welcome in. Yeah, that's right. Crap. That's very funny. You guys are great today, so thank you. So yes, so that is one of the biggies to me. It's like, okay, good. I call it poop corn because non-organic corn is like popcorn, but it's poop corn. And so anyway, that's gross. I'm sorry. I shouldn't tell all my little dirty secrets about what I say about certain things. So, the other thing that you're guaranteed that you're not getting, so if you're eating organics, they are not using radiation to sterilize your foods. It's very funny. They use radiation commonly to sterilize certain foods. Now, I don't know exactly what foods, and we're not going to get into that, but they do use radiation. So if you're eating an organic product, then you are guaranteed that you are not getting any radiated foods. Sometimes they radiate them in transit to help them ripen faster. Sometimes they radiate them to sterilize them, to get the poop off, probably. So yeah, so you're guaranteed that they are not radiating your food. The other thing is that there are no industrial solvents to clean up messes in the organic process. So let's say you have a spill of some kind and they need to clean it up. Thank you for inviting followers, Mary. And they need to clean it up, right? So they're using industrial type cleaners to clean the machinery, to clean the conveyor belts, to clean the trucks. I don't know what they're using it for. They're using it for all kinds of things, but they guarantee you that they're not using, they do use cleaners, but they're not industrial solvents that are getting into your food. So you're guaranteed that if you are eating organic foods. They do not use any chemical additives. So a lot of times they will actually inject fruits and vegetables. They will actually inject fruits and vegetables with a solution that will artificially ripen them, number one, and number two, will make them sit on the shelf longer. So I don't know if you go into the grocery store and you see conventional tomatoes, they're like, you know, they're like a grapefruit size. They're giant conventional tomatoes that are non-organic. So the word conventional, when I say conventional, I mean non-organic produce or foods. Okay, so that's what the word conventional means to me. So when I say conventional, that's what I mean, by the way. I want to make sure I throw out that definition. So if you see those giant tomatoes, right, they have been injected with something that they will sit there longer and not go bad. So they have a longer shelf life, and that is an additive that they're putting into your food. Yes. Oh, okay. Thank you, Ellen. Yes, I'm a cancer survivor. I am a 2.9-year breast cancer survivor. So I know it's true. It's absolutely true. It's okay. Do you guys remember that episode? Okay, this is probably just me, but I grew up in the 70s, right? So I was a Gilligan's Island fanatic. I loved Gilligan's Island. And there was one episode where they got these seeds that had been exposed to radiation or something, or nuclear or whatever. Anyway, and they grew them, and like the carrots would come out like, you know, this big, and they got these huge zucchinis and these huge corns, and they were so excited to have fresh crops. You know, they could grow fresh crops there, and they had these huge, you know, these huge things. Like the carrots came out and it had like 4 carrots out of the center of it. I love that episode of Gilligan's Island. So when we're in Hawaii next week, they play reruns at one of the local channels. They play reruns of Gilligan's Island, and I'm like totally stoked to go and sit at night when it's dark and there's not much to do on the North Shore of Oahu. Yes, it's true. Then I love to watch reruns of Gilligan's Island. Okay, so that was my little off. You know, there's my story for the day. So, so you're not getting any chemical additives. If it's meat, you're guaranteed that there are no hormones and no antibiotics in your food. So, amazing, right? So you get, thank you for sharing. You get these amazing properties of things that are not in traditional foods. So when you talk about conventional, so think about this. All those things that I just listed off, you have to be certified organic to have those things not done to your food, so not processed into your food. If you're eating conventional, so conventional fruits, conventional dairy, conventional meats, all of those things you are ingesting in your body. And a lot of times the problem is that they're endocrine disruptors, which means that they disrupt your hormone balances. They disrupt the way your hormones function in your body. It's hard on your liver. There's lots of things about, I know it's shocking. There's lots of things about these conventional foods that are really dangerous for you. So when I talk to somebody, when I'm coaching somebody, when we're talking about a health journey, because I always say it's a process, it's not an event. And so when I'm talking about a health journey with somebody, I tell them, let's start with the basics. Let's get you off of the foods that are not organic. And the first thing that they say to me is, I can't afford it. Well, you can afford me, so you can afford, this is when I used to coach people. I actually don't do it so much anymore, one-on-one anyway. I do it here with you guys. Okay, we'll see you in a bit. Then we need to talk about getting you off of conventional produce and meats and dairy and get you into organic meats, dairy, and produce. And we avoid prepackaged foods. So we try to avoid completely anything that comes in a package. I mean, I buy a few things that come in a package, but I will tell you that my cart when I go to the grocery store is heavy on the fruits and veg, a little bit of meat, a little bit of dairy, and a little bit of processed foods, but really not downtown crazy on that. And that's what's in my cart. There's not much more than that because I don't need anything else. Because I will tell you that if you're eating whole foods, if you're eating real foods, then there's no ingredient label on there. So the only thing you need to look for is organic. Say, hey, welcome in. Vegas. I will be in Vegas on Friday, actually, but just for the night, because then the next morning I leave for Hawaii. So, but we love Vegas. We spend a lot of time there. I filmed a couple of episodes there, in fact. So here we go. So what is the organic priority? Okay, Leslie, you've convinced me. I do not want poop on my fruits and vegetables, human poop on my fruits and vegetables. That's amazing. Okay, well, there you go. We're going to be on the North Shore of Oahu. In fact, I'm scoping from there next week. So, so you've convinced me now, Leslie. I'm not going to eat anything that is conventional. So hang on just a second. You can eat some things that are conventional. In fact, that's the way that you save money. So what I like to say is, if you're thinking about conventional, when you think about conventional produce especially, if you eat the peel, it's no deal. So that's my rhyme. So remember this: if you eat the peel, it's no deal. So that means if you are looking at conventional fruits and vegetables and you're eating the peel, if you're eating the outside of the fruits or vegetable or the leaf or anything like that, then it needs to be organic. If it has a peel on it that you're not going to eat, then you can just buy traditional. So okay, actually, I'm not going to have time. I have a full schedule, believe it or not, in Vegas, and I'm only there one night. So we have lots of friends there, so we can scope food. Yeah, there's a lot of amazing food in Vegas. So, so that is what I say all the time. So if you're going to eat the peel, then it's no deal. If you're talking about, yeah, maybe next time we're talking about traditional foods. So, or conventional foods, excuse me. If you're eating organics, then no problem at all. You can pick whatever you want. My other rule is that if it is not in season, so a lot of times the only way that you can get certain organic foods is if they are in season. And I would recommend that you try to eat in season. So right now, it's almost an impossibility to find organic asparagus. You can, but it's hard to find and it's expensive. It's almost an impossibility to find organic asparagus because it is not in season. So when it comes into season, then it will be everywhere and you can buy it then. Now, I love asparagus, but asparagus is dirty because you eat the whole thing. You're eating the whole outside of the vegetable. So it's a trade-off for me. If I'm going to eat asparagus this time of year, I need to either find organics, which I can find, but again, it's difficult, or I need to eat conventional. So I try not to do that, but every once in a while, because I'm making a recipe that has asparagus, I have to do that. So it's all about moderation. It's all about living down the colorful middle. It's not black or white. Or it can be very expensive. It's not black or white. So it's not, it's not all organics or no organics. It's down the colorful middle. You live down the colorful middle. It's not gray either. So you don't live down the middle in the gray. You live down the colorful middle, which means that if you're making a recipe that has asparagus in it, then you can just buy regular old asparagus. Just wash it really good. So that would be my suggestion for that. So let's talk about the priorities. Oh, that's interesting. I've never heard that before. See, I know a lot about organics. I don't know a lot about agriculture, and that's one of the things that I am dying to learn more about. I would love to know more about agriculture. That way, when I speak about the stuff, that I'm like I am totally on board and know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'm building up to that. I actually have some local farmers that when we're out of season. Yeah, I've heard asparagus is actually kind of easy to grow, but when it's when they're out of season and through with farmers markets, they are going to allow me to come to the farm, and we're going to talk about the different crops that they grow, and most of them are organic farms, of course, and so I want to talk to them about the agricultural process because I'm so interested in it. So because I have a lot of fans and people that watch me that are agricultural people, and I live in an agricultural area, and so there's tons of it around, and I would like to see it. I would like to know more about it from the farmer's perspective instead of just what I'm reading from the internet. So yeah, it's not part of the dirty dozen. So asparagus is not part of the dirty dozen, but I wouldn't eat it every single day in conventional form, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? So yeah. So I missed that last comment. I'm so sorry. So let's talk about priorities. So here's my priorities. Number one priority when you're selecting organic. So if you are not going to buy anything else organics, and this may shock you when I say this, if you're not going to buy anything else organic, you can only afford to buy one product organic, and this is only if you eat it or use it. That is dairy. Number one. the milks and the cheeses and the yogurts and the things, if you're going to the grocery store, and I do not like to rail against the food industry, so I'm not going to do that here today. I'm not going to call out names of different companies, but if you're going to the grocery store and you are buying traditional, yogurt, like from one of the traditional companies in their little plastic containers, I am telling you that you are not doing anything good for your body. So maybe occasionally, because it tastes good, you have one, but it's not something that you should be doing on a daily basis. You should be selecting a raw, whole, organic yogurt. Dairy is one of the dirtiest things that we get, okay? And dairy is very dirty. Dirty dairy. There should be like a whole, Forks Over Knives should do a whole thing on dirty dairy, because that's funny. I just made that up, and that's really funny. So dairy is dirty, and so the way they process it, the things that they feed their animals to do the production of it, I am not going to say, hey, welcome in. I'm not going to say that you should not have dairy. A lot of diets will say, oh, nix the dairy. Don't do any dairy. I'm actually kind of against that. I think that some dairy products are going to be fine for you, but that's just me personally. If you have an allergic reaction to dairy, obviously you don't want to do it. So why do they have all of this new improvements on dirty dairy? Yeah, it's you can buy organic milk. It is a little bit better for you, and I'm not going to go into all of that. Maybe I'll do a whole scope on organic dairies, but you should definitely be selecting dairy that comes from grass-fed sources. So grass-fed goats, grass-fed cows, they should not be coming from a corn diet. A corn diet is not natural to a cow. It cannot process it in its gut properly, therefore it gets sick, therefore it needs antibiotics, therefore a lot of things. And so if you're buying products from animals that are unhealthy and unhappy, well, if they're not happy, they're not healthy. And so you need to be buying products from animals that are well cared for and that are happy. No, I don't think that they sell breast milk. No, have no idea, but I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, and most people aren't going to go out drinking breast milk either, because as an adult, it's not exactly, tasteful. So if you've ever tasted breast milk, it's not exactly tasteful. So, or full of something that you want to drink every single day for sure. So, but no, I don't know. And I mean, and there's a reason that we have breast milk when we're young and not when we're old. So, I don't know what that means. We should have human milk, cow milk. I don't know what that means. Maybe not cow milk. So dairy is fine, but you should look for raw. You should look organic. Yeah, you don't need it. That's for sure. Oh, you don't need human milk. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. I mean, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a specific reason that we have milk when we are human. We have breast milk when we are children. There's a specific reason for that, and I don't know what it is, but I know that there's a reason we don't drink it as adults. So, or as, even past the weaning stage, as someone says here. So yes, so you should look for organic dairy. You should look for raw as much as possible. I will tell you that if you have ever had like a raw cheese, like a raw sharp cheddar, you will never ever go back to the crud that you get just at the regular, cheese case, because raw sharp cheddar, oh my God, it is so good. Again, I only eat it in moderation. I don't have it a lot, but I do have it around occasionally, and it is so good. No, you didn't start a hot mess. No, let's talk it out. Don't apologize. So the number 2 thing that I think that you should think about when you are talking about organics, that is meat. Meat should be your second priority. So number 1 is dairy. Number 2, I know, organic goat cheese. Oh my God. Oh, it's so good. Like a mozzarella or something. I had mozzarella, buffalo cheese the other day it was from buffalo's milk, and it was a mozzarella. It was so good. I was freaking out about how good it was. I have to ignore it when I go into the store because I love cheese. I travel a lot. I've traveled all over the world, and so a lot of cultures use a lot of cheese, especially in Europe, and I love cheese. So, hey, there you go. there is your answer there. Thanks, Kat. No, it was from buffalo milk. So it was actually from a buffalo. They milked a buffalo, got the milk. It was raw mozzarella buffalo milk cheese. Oh my God, it was so good. It was ridiculously good. So yeah, so meat should be the number 2 priority for you. We're gonna talk about meat extensively this week. We're going to talk about dairy, so I'll research that to death for you, and then we're going to talk about meat. That's going to be the second priority. So I know it was so good. I put it on a pizza. It was ridiculous. So number 1, dairy. Number 2, meat. Beef should be hormone-free, antibiotic-free, grass-fed or pasture raised. Chicken, just really quickly, should be pasture raised, or it should be free range, and it should have no antibiotics and no hormones as well. Fish should always be wild caught. You can even get it in cans like this. This is a BPA can. You can see there that it says wild Alaskan. This is a wild caught salmon. Nothing added. This is a sustainable type of fish, non-GMO, BPA-free can. I mean, all that kind of jazz. You could drive yourself crazy with all that stuff, quite frankly, but yes. So fish, always wild caught, never farmed. Do not eat farm-raised fish. It is sick fish, and you are making yourself sick when you eat it. And then pork, not a huge fan of pork. I do eat it on occasion, like I love a good bacon and eggs breakfast, but I have a pork source, so I know that my pork is clean. I know that it doesn't have any nitrates in it. I know it's not been packaged. I know all of those things. So if you're going to eat pork, then let's do it from a clean source. Know your source when you're going to eat pork. But we do not eat a lot of pork in this house at all. So, and if you want more information about that, talk to Dr. Christine, and she can tell you all about pork, and it'll gross you out and you'll never eat it again. So dirty pork, that's right. Number 3 on my list is going to be eggs. Always pasture raised. If you can't find pasture raised, then you want to go to the free range, which still means that they're in cages. They're just in a huge pen with a bunch of other chickens, but pasture raised is the best because they're allowed to lay eggs naturally. They're allowed to do what chickens do, which is scratch and feather and dust themselves and eat bugs and all that sort of stuff. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I'm not sure what that means. They don't have vines. And then from there, we're going to go into the produce, which would be fruits and veg. In fruits and veg, there's a thing called the Dirty Dozen. And I don't have them memorized because I have the rule of if it's, if you eat if I'm looking at conventional, if you eat the peel, it's no deal. So that's my rule. That's what I do. I don't worry about the Dirty Dozen because it just works itself out pretty much on its own. But apples, celery, tomatoes, cucumbers, grapes, hot peppers, nectarines, peaches, potatoes, leafy greens, berries, and bell peppers are all on the Dirty Dozen. So those are things that you definitely, if you cannot get them organically, you do not want to eat them traditionally. So I am a stickler about this in my house, and I can tell you that I have noticed a difference. They say that if you cut out all of the veins, I don't know about that. You're over my head there. I have no idea. Somebody may know on here. But if you can cut out all of the GMOs and the conventional, non-organic, if you cut those out completely, that within a week that you had traces, or actually large traces of pesticides and things in your body. Yes, they could, or you can watch the replay here or catch this on catch.me as well. So yeah. So yes, if you just knock it out for a week, that your blood levels show that you do not have any, that you don't have any pesticides in your body. So that's pretty amazing, and you do not want those pesticides in your blood, trust me. So, there are high yield crops that come in GMO format, which means genetically modified organisms. corn, soy, zucchini, squash, canola, beets, and papaya are all going to be things that are high in GMO, which means that if you're eating any of those organic, then you're guaranteed that they're not GMO. But if you're eating them conventionally, not only are you getting all the pesticides and everything, you're getting all of the GMO properties as well, which means that they have grown something that is not natural, basically. It's that carrot with the 4 things hanging down on the you know, on the Gilligan's Island episode. So number 5 on my list is going to be tea and coffee. Those are actually plant-based items, and so I would highly recommend, and they can process them to death. I definitely recommend that you look into an organic tea or coffee if you're a tea or coffee drinker. Those would actually be number 5 on my list. Number 6 on my list would be dried herbs and spices. So if you're not using herbs fresh, you're using them dried, then I would definitely look for certified organic dried herbs. And I will tell you that most cities have a beautiful, if you seek it out, they will have a beautiful little herb shop that you can go to, or a spice shop, and get amazing quality spices from all over the world. So no, they actually have deemed, in this country, they've actually deemed GMOs safe. So, and non-organic and pesticides and all of that, they've deemed them safe. Now, in other countries like Europe, it is not. So they, in fact, France just joined with the European Union. I think they were the last country to do so, that said we are not producing any GMO crops. We are done with that. So yeah, so they're at the end of their GMO crops, which I think is amazing. And I can't wait till we follow suit here in the States. I will tell you that the more and more of us that stop eating this stuff, the less and less of it they will have to make. So if we all start, you know, making a transition over to more organics and more ideas of being healthy and preserving our bodies and maintaining our health instead of maintaining it medically, but maintaining it with our own self, then these companies will slowly go away. So just, you know, keeping that in mind. I'm not going to pressure you one way or the other. So then if you're getting really deep, like you're getting super deep down and you have all the money in the world and you want to spend it on organics, you know, then you can start with number 5, and tea and coffee would be something, you know, start with number 5. So the top 4 would be the most important, and then the rest of these are just something that if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can. So dried herbs and spices. Number 8 would be grains, pastas, breads, you know, anything like that, rices, all of those things. If you wanted to buy those organic, then I would recommend that if you can afford it, that you would. I would buy everything organic that I could, staying away from the marketing hype that's, you know, oh, well, it's organic, so it must be okay, like the cookies and the cereals and the, you know, those types of things, the chocolate bars and the oatmeals and all of that sort of thing. I wouldn't just go downtown crazy on that kind of stuff anyway, but don't fall into the marketing hype of it either. Don't make that your priority. So if you can only afford the fruits and veg and meat and dairy, then that's what you should buy. The rest of it, you can just buy conventional. It's, you know, it's do what you can. That's, I guess, is the bottom line. It's the same thing I say about blenders. Buy the best blender that you can afford. The same thing applies here. So yeah, chocolate is really important at fair trade. That's a whole nother ethical issue, but yes. Yeah. And then number 9 would be nuts and seeds. This always surprises people as well, that I don't put nuts and seeds high up there. That's because they come in a hard shell package, mostly nuts as we're talking about here, and most seeds as well, because we peel them off and, you know, peel off the shell. So those do not have to absolutely be organic, but they are on my list of things to buy organic, but not a huge priority. I buy them when they're available, when they're reasonably priced or on sale, I will buy them. But I will not, but if I have to buy conventional, I will as well. So actually, cheap foods are not so cheap, because here's what happens. I'll tell you the secret behind this. When you eat a good diet, when you're eating something that is good for you, so you're eating whole foods. Let's say you're eating whole foods, whole grains. You're eating, you know, you're eating organic meats and dairies and all those sorts of things. So let's say that you make yourself a week's meal like that. So you're all week, you've dedicated, this is what I'm doing, and so you do that, right? You will eat less. A lot of people talk about diet trends, but what happens is that because you are making better choices in your life, you actually eat less because your body is satisfied. When you're eating drive-through at McDonald's, or you're eating drive-through at Wendy's, or wherever you're eating that, whatever you're doing, Chick-fil-A, whatever, when you're eating those foods, your body automatically starts craving more of it. And the reason well, there's two reasons, because they're chemically modified and they want you to do that. They want you to crave it. But the other thing that happens is that they are, your body is not satisfied. There's no nutrients in that food. So I actually had a client that thought that French fries were a health food because they were a potato. And so she was like, well, I eat lots of vegetables. I eat French fries or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, look it. There is no nutrients in those French fries. Anything that was good about a potato is gone at that point. So you are eating just grease with some fiber in it. And that's what you're eating. And so there's no nutrients in there. So what happens is that your body it wants more. It wants more food. So you get hungrier faster. So therefore you have to go back to McDonald's, or you have to go back to Wendy's or whatever you're eating and go get more of that crap that you're putting in there. Yeah, I know. Sad, right? I have to tell you, probably about 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer 2.9 years ago. But even a year and a half before that, I had started a little bit of a health journey. A friend actually encouraged me to eat healthier and to be healthier. And so I had started a little bit, and then I was diagnosed with cancer, and then I went into, upper levels of this, and this is how I got my education, is learning on my own and by other doctors and naturopaths and things. But I wasn't too far off from that, actually. I mean, I had a really crappy diet about 4 years ago. It was not pretty. I was eating whatever, whenever, however I wanted to, and I ate to stay thin. I did not eat for my health. And so yeah, I wasn't too far off from that thought process myself. So I actually can sympathize. Yeah, don't eat Wendy's chicken, Ellen. Don't go to Wendy's. Wendy's is no good for you. I can give you better choices than that. So if you need to eat out, if you just don't have the possibility to cook at home or to take your lunch or whatever you're doing, I can give you better choices for that, because it is there is nothing in there that's good for you. You think that you're eating something nutritious because it's chicken, but you're not. They have everything that was good about that chicken is gone. So yes. Chipotle, I'm not a big fan, but there are people that actually believe that Chipotle can be healthy, but I don't eat there. So I eat out very rarely. I have to tell you, occasionally I have a fast food meal. I mean, and I'll be the first to tell you, like when I'm in Vegas coming up, they have an In-N-Out burger, and I love me some In-N-Out burger. So I will have an In-N-Out burger, but my body, I eat 98% of the time I'm eating spot on exactly how my body wants me to eat. So that 2% is not a big deal. So yeah, you ate unhealthy, you did. Yeah. So, yeah, no go, no additives. Yeah. So there you go. There's a little bit of a demystification of the organic side of things. We're going to break it down even further this week. So if you've watched my show before, well, that's all up to you. You can do better. I know you can. So no GMO, no additives. Yeah. Yes, they do make that promise. Is that Chipotle or Panera that says that now? I didn't know Chipotle was on that bandwagon. I thought it was Panera that was on that bandwagon. So, but I wouldn't know because I don't eat there, so I don't keep up. But, so the rest of the week, if you've ever watched my show, Mondays are all about, this is all about what we're talking about this week. And I tell you the whys and the hows and all that sort of thing. And then we break it down. So the rest of the week, we will be breaking this down even further. And we will take these individual, like these top four, these are the things that you should be buying organic when you can afford them or when they're available. We'll take those top four and we'll break those down even further, and we'll talk about those in a little bit more meaningful way so that you have a better understanding. So And just remember always that taking a health journey is just that. It's a journey. It's not an event. This is not something that happens overnight. This has taken me almost 3 years to get, and I'm still learning. I still learn every single day. I watch you guys' scopes, and I watch other people's scopes, and I read these big, thick books, and I read these testaments from other people. And sometimes I even learn something when I'm coaching somebody. So I'm in a constant state of educating myself about this sort of thing, and I try to keep up as best as possible with what is coming down the pipe and what's happening. And so, but just remember that this is a process. Being healthy is a process. So Ellen, you ate Wendy's chicken today. So you ate Wendy's chicken today. Forget about it. Now move on. You know, make a different decision tomorrow. So, yeah, don't forget to pick up your grandson. Excuse me. Something just flew into my mouth. I apologize for that. So yes, so just forget about what happened today and just look at tomorrow and what can you do tomorrow to make it better for you so that you're not tempted to stop and get chicken at Wendy's. But yes, this is a process. This is not an event. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. And so you have to continue. It's a continuation of education all the time. I'm constantly educating myself. I'm educating my friends, my family. I'm helping people change. I'm not changing their lives. I'm helping people change their lives to make better decisions. And that is what Go-To Kitchens is all about. It is not about the money grab. It is not about getting you to buy things that you don't need. It is nothing like that. It is all about the education. And I hope to continue furthering that with you guys as we go along. So the rest of this week, we're breaking it down. Yeah, good. Thank you. Yeah, the bug police. That's right. I love you too. Thank you for being here so consistently, Ellen. I appreciate it. I really do. I like your comments. I like your honesty. It's beautiful. So, and I love that you're trying to make a change. So a huge help. Excellent. Good. Good. That's what I want to do. So, and I want it to be fun because some people are so serious about this sort of thing. They get so serious and they get up in arms and they get all mad and they get all frustrated and everything. That is not me. That's not how I roll. This is way fun. Taking care of yourself should be fun and it should be exciting and you should be excited about it. And that's what Go-To Kitchens is all about. So, and me as well. So, all right, I'm going to go have some lunch. And my husband just had lunch without me. Dang. And so I'm going to go have some lunch and I will be back here tomorrow with you guys. Yes, it should be fun. Absolutely. Well, Dad is actually in Montana right now. They're on a huge road trip and they're in Montana right now. But I'll tell him hello. Yes, I will. He's sitting, looking out a window at me right now. So what's for lunch today? So today I'm actually making myself a salad, and it's really awesome because I make this salad and I put apples on it, organic apples, of course. I put apples on it, and then I take some sauerkraut and I make the sauerkraut, I mix it all together and it makes like a salad dressing. So it's got that tart, tangy sauerkraut taste to it, and then the apples give it that nice little sweet, and then I put some pistachio nuts on top of that, and then sometimes just a little bit of Parmesan cheese because you know I love cheese. So see you next time. Bye, Ellen. Yeah, so that's what's for lunch today with loads of water. So today's my water day. If you want to know, people comment on my skin all the time. I will tell you that I am 45 years old. I just turned 45 in August. I'm 45 years old, and people say things about my skin all the time on these scopes. They're like, wow, your skin is so great, or it's dewy, or whatever. And if you want to know what my beauty secret is there, it is not makeup. It is not a cream. It is not anything. It's not because I'm diligent about doing any type of beauty routine or anything else. This is my secret right here. I drink half my body weight in water every single day, and that's what keeps your skin beautiful and keeps the wrinkles away and all that sort of thing. So just saying. And I don't eat traditional, conventional produce. I don't know if that contributes or not, but I just had to throw that in there. So yes, but I do get that all the time. Yep, 45. I just turned 45 in August. So yeah, so I'm old enough to have the wisdom, but young enough for you guys to believe me. Yeah. So, okay, so I'm going to go eat lunch, and I want you guys to have an amazing day. I want you to think of your organic questions. Tomorrow we're going to talk about meat and dairy, so we're going to break it down tomorrow, and I want you to think of your questions, and I will try to answer them. If you want to email me your questions ahead of time, it's talktothehands@gotokitchens.com. Talk, the number 2, the hands, plural, at gotokitchens.com. You can email me your questions there, and I will make sure that they get answered tomorrow. Sometimes I can't answer them on the fly because I don't claim to know it all, and so nobody should, and so sometimes you ask me questions that I can't answer. So if you want to ask those questions ahead of time, please go talktothehands@gotokitchens.com is the email address. You can email me right there. Send me a Facebook message as well. You can find me Leslie Nance, Nance, or gotokitchens.com as well on Facebook. Send me a message, ask your question, and I'll make sure that it gets answered on air tomorrow during our broadcast. And tomorrow we're talking about organic meat and dairy and what to look for. So, all right. In fact, I may try to be in front of the meat counter I do Instagram. I'm not on there a lot, but I do have an account there, so you can find me there as well. And I think it goes to my email, so I'll see that if you send me a message there. So the best way to get a hold of me is just to email me. That's where I really find most of the questions. Like, a lot of people email me, and I try to answer your questions on here. So, but I've never offered it out to you guys, which is silly. I should totally. There's so many things to think about when you're scoping. You got to, you have like this whole thing that you're supposed to follow along with, and I'm not very good at that. So. Not good at that sort of thing. I'm great about telling you about whys and hows and stuff, but I'm not good about that other sort of marketing thing that I'm supposed to be doing. So I know I'm supposed to be doing it, but I don't always do it. So, okay. So tomorrow noon Mountain Time, lunch with Leslie, and we're going to talk about meats and dairy, organic meats and dairy tomorrow, and why they're so important to you. So come join me tomorrow, and I'm going to go eat lunch, and I hope you guys have a fabulous day today. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the hearts. Thanks for all the replay viewers. Thanks for all the catch viewers. Thanks if you're watching from my website. Thank you if you're just watching this ever, like 100 years from now, you're watching this. Thank you for watching it. All right. Bye, guys. Have an amazing day.